Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Mike Hara. I'm with the Folsom Bass team. We're getting off the water a little after 1 o'clock here at Amador, and we just had an awesome day. I threw the jig mostly all day, and that's basically what this video is about. But Tim also caught fish using a drop shot, so bite was really good for us. We probably had close to 18 pounds a day. Our biggest fish maybe gone 6. But we caught a tremendous number of fish. And the majority of fish came on this particular bait here. This is a Don Iovino jig. I made reference to it several times during the filming. This is a 3/8 ounce. I try to go as light as I can when I'm fishing the jig, just as long as I can feel it. And if you look at this jig and compare it to, say, a Bass Patrol, you'll notice that the thread count on the living rubber is a lot more. There's a lot more living rubber on this particular jig. The hook is a finesse type hook. It's a thin wire hook, and the weed guard is also fairly thin too. So those two things help ensure that you're going to get a good hook into the fish. What I like to do with this particular jig is I like to make it as finesse as possible. And what I find is this jig, when you trim it down, will catch fish anywhere. Spotted bass at Oroville, Shasta, Folsom, but it also catches lunkers here at Amador and Clear Lake. And so what I do is I'll trim this jig to about 1/8 from the bend of the hook, and I'll pretty much round it off. So we'll start at the end here and just cut it down. I never fish this jig stock. I always trim it, and it's just a great jig. Don Iovino really puts out a great product here. This particular jig's brown, just your regular brown, but it's got a few strands of mylar in it. And so you can kind of see the mylar shining here. And what I'll do with this weed guard too is I'll trim it down just a tad to make it a little stiffer, but I'll leave a strand or two the full length. And then I'll spread this a little bit. That just gives it a little bit more weedlessness. And that's basically it. And for trailers, I've used both the Yamamoto double-tail trailer. I usually use the 5-inch trailer, but occasionally I'll go down to the 4-inch. Whichever trailer I select in the Yamamoto product, I always cut those down anyways. The 5-inch has more bulk if the fish are more aggressive, or the water's a lot more cloudy and you need more water displacement, I'll use the 5-inch. And the 4-inch is, I'll use that when the bite's a little tougher. I'm also throwing other trailers like the Packet trailer and trailers made by Yum. Actually, it's just a Yum craw. It's not actually made to be a trailer, and I'll cut those. But either way, you can't go wrong if you're using this jig with just about any trailer that you have confidence in using. And the key to fishing this is just to fish it slow. Make sure you have bottom contact. Again, I'll try to go with 3/8 ounce, but if the wind comes up like it did later on today, I'll switch to a 1/2 ounce just so long as I can feel the bottom. The colors, I keep it simple. It's basically variations of brown. Iovino also makes another color. I think it's color number 23. It's got some pumpkin silicone mixed in with the regular brown living rubber. And I'll throw that both in the 1/2 ounce and in the 3/8. And the only other color I'll use will be black, and I'll usually use a dark trailer with that as well. I did buy some orange and brown jigs, but I really haven't used them much. Again, I just basically stay with the all brown or go with the all black. Yeah, another thing I wanted to talk about is the weights that I like to use when I'm fishing the jig and the different jig styles. We went over trimming it. I do that with all my jigs, but I'll throw the football head jig when I'm fishing rock, and I'll go to a flathead jig such as the Weapon. And the Weapon is also a jig that Don Iovino sells, and it comes in the standard 3/8 and 1/2 ounce sizes. And 90% of the time, those are the two sizes that I'm going to throw. The only time I'll size up 3/4 or 1 ounce is when I'm fishing deeper, say at Bullard's Bar. But in any event, I also wanted to go over the line types that I've been using. And for the last several years I've been fishing 20-pound test Abrasics, the fluorocarbon line. It's really sensitive. It has less stretch than mono. but I've also recently been experimenting with using braid line, using a Alberto knot attached to 20-pound fluoro, using basically the same line, the Abrasics, in a 20-pound leader. And the difference between the two is pretty incredible. The difference between the stretch in fluoro and mono isn't as magnified as it is between the difference between fluoro and braid. Basically, what I found in braid is virtually there is no stretch. It's just like using a piece of rope when you set the hook, and it's very sensitive. So in years past, I've been using braid mainly for a frog or a punching application, but I think I will be switching the majority of my gear over for deep water applications using braid with the fluoro leader as well. And the particular braid that I'm using here is the Power Pro in the new Super Slick. This is 50-pound test, and again I'm using Alberto knot to attach a 20-pound fluoro leader. The rod, which I think is really important, and I've talked to many club members about this, and I think if you ask them, because several of them have bought this rod. This is a Dobbins Mike-Long jig rod, model 784, and the unique thing about this rod, the unique thing about what Gary Dobbins has done, and he's not sponsoring me, I'm just telling you I really like this product because I really believe in it. It's caught me a lot of fish. It's 7 foot 8 inches, so most of your standard rods are 7 foot, 7 foot 2, 7'3". The extra inches that you get on this rod really make a huge difference when you're setting the hook. And again, 7 foot 8 inches, a huge difference when you're setting the hook. And I ended up buying 2 of these rods, and I have yet to break one. And I've broken some Loomis IMX rods, but this by far is I think the best application for a deep water jig or a Texas rig. Very sensitive, and I can't say enough good stuff about it. Very light, and I'm pairing this rod. I'm using with a Team Daiwa Zillion reel. The gear ratio on this is 7.3 to 1. As far as I'm concerned, when I'm fishing a jig, the faster the gear ratio, the better, because once I'm cleared the area that I think the fish are in, I want to get that jig or Texas rig up as fast as I can so I can make another cast. So the extra speed in the gear ratio here is really a benefit. And that's basically it. If you guys have any questions, again, you could see me at any of the club meetings and take a look at the rigs that I've been using. Anyways, good fishing and good luck to everybody.